All right, welcome back in. We've just gotten some brand new news out here at the St. Jude Dream Home. An incredible 600 tickets just went in the last 30 minutes. Melissa, we're pacing well ahead of last year. These tickets will be going quick, and we will sell out this year.
Yeah, that means you've got to get your ticket. And if you enter today, you're going to be entered to win several other prizes. But the real reason we're here is for the kids. And that is the reason Chris and I traveled down to Memphis, to St. Jude, just a couple of months ago, was to bring you the stories of the children and the families who are truly being helped every single day by you here in the community and projects like this.
And I sat down with a very special family that shared their story with me that went from the heartbreak of a diagnosis to hope. For 16-year-old Tyler, running is now about reaching the finish line. Competing in track and field in high school serves as a passion and a purpose. But at the age of 6, Tyler was in the race for his life.
He was very involved in sports, played soccer, did karate, he was in scouts, things a normal 6-year-old would do.
But life unexpectedly changed.
All of a sudden, he wasn't that normal 6-year-old anymore, and he started falling asleep in class and having extreme arm and leg pains and night sweats and just not himself.
Mom Michelle was told several times it was normal growing pains, until it got much worse.
Tyler couldn't put weight on his arms and legs anymore. He crawled from his bedroom to ours, just screaming and crying in pain.
Instinct kicked in, and Michelle took Tyler directly to the local children's hospital.
The next morning, the head of the hospital came down and said, someone from St. Jude is coming over to talk to you. And it took my breath away.
The family from Memphis knew cancer and of St. Jude and the hope it brings. Just the year before, in 2012, Michelle's 9-year-old niece was treated and cured of pediatric melanoma at St. Jude. Cancer striking again, the choice to go to St. Jude was clear.
Our doctor came in and he said, we're pretty sure it's ALL, which is acute lymphoblastic leukemia, and it's heartbreaking. We didn't know what to expect. We didn't know what we were dealing with. And then he proceeds to tell us that his treatment is going to be 2.5 to 3 years.
Under the care of the world's leading doctors at St. Jude, Michelle was told treatment for Tyler would start immediately.
We're going to start chemotherapy today. He needed blood, he needed platelets, and you're kind of spinning. And I remember Dr. Pui leaving the room, and one of the nurses came in and she said, "Do you know anything about him?" And I said, "No, I don't." And she said, "Well, he's the #1 leading researcher in the world for leukemia." And at that moment, I knew in my heart, I said, he's gonna be okay.
Fears quickly eased, and the weight of a financial burden lifted. Never does a child or family ever pay a bill for treatment, travel, housing, or food at St. Jude.
You could be financially ruined from this diagnosis. And instead, they just kept saying, "We're here to support you. Everything you need is right under this roof."
Research, treatment protocols, and clinical breakthroughs at St. Jude always freely shared, with one goal: to defeat childhood cancer.
Tyler's had around 1,200 doses of chemotherapy. He's had so many steroids, close to 2 years worth of steroids off and on. He's had platelets, blood, transfusions, broken bones, occupational therapy, physical therapy, all these things that have happened to his body. His body has been through a lot. But at the end of the day, we have him.
2 years and 7 months. The journey a child endured to become a survivor. A victory over cancer, not once, but twice for this family. Tyler's diagnosis came on February 4th, St. Jude Founders Day, and serves as a special connection to St. Jude founder and Toledo native, Danny Thomas.
We're going to begin with leukemia, and by God's grace, after defeating it, go on to other diseases.
Without him, my family would not be whole. That I wouldn't have Tyler, wouldn't have my niece, and that my life would be so different. And I'm thankful, and I feel very blessed.
They said it couldn't be done. They said that it was a task which would break my heart. They said it was impossible.
That no child is going to die in the dawn of life. That's his mission. That is the mission of ALSEC and St. Jude, is to make sure that every child who's walking through that door right now as we're sitting here is going to have the opportunity to survive.
Now cured of cancer, Tyler uses his strength, proof that cancer is just an obstacle and can be defeated, to run as a St. Jude hero.
I feel so blessed to be near him and understand that he is a walking miracle.
Tyler's completed 4 half marathons as a St. Jude hero and plans to run his first full marathon this year.
It's more about spreading awareness and telling people, every single dollar matters, because without that money that's raised, the research doesn't continue. Medications aren't getting explored, new treatments are not happening. And St. Jude is so unique because they share everything freely and globally. So it's not just about the kids here at St. Jude in Memphis, it's about the kids all across the globe.
Tyler's team has raised $550,000 and counting to support the mission of St. Jude. Tyler's marathon, his next obstacle, running to help all kids defeat cancer.
I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to finish. I have no doubt that I'm going to get to stand there and watch him cross the finish line.
So the type of cancer that Tyler had was acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Had a survival rate of about 4% before St. Jude was opened. Today, because of St. Jude largely, survival rate of ALL is now over 90%. It was considered at one time incurable, and we're very close to a cure on that.
Danny Thomas would be so proud of all of that work. And one of the things that I noticed that you said in your story is that he had to endure many, many rounds of chemo. And as we know, we learned during our visit, St. Jude is doing real things, research, and they've made strides to make sure that kids don't have to go through unnecessary chemos now.
They can target the specific type of chemotherapy that will work much better for them, of course, shortening the amount of treatment and, of course, what the kids would have to endure, all while going through the cure. And, of course, they're spreading this not just across the nation, but globally as well. So go ahead and get your tickets now to support that mission, keeping families whole, much like you saw with Tyler.